Hi, in a previous tutorial we saw how to test your WebSocket server using the JavaScript client in Firefox or Chrome. In this tutorial, let us see an actual code in Ballerina, a very basic code that shows how easy it is to create a WebSocket server using Ballerina. In this tutorial here I have a service. You have to define a service as you would for any other protocols in Ballerina. We have this WebSocket service which says that it is a server. Later on there will be a WebSocket client service also. And here in the service configuration, that is the server configurations, you can have the path and the subprotocols that this server supports. This is only an example. You can say reply text also, and you can say it has an idle timeout of 120 seconds. But you can also say specify the max frame size of this server, the max frame size that this server can handle. The default is 65 KB, and here this is the endpoint this service is bound to. The endpoint has a post of 1990. Since the endpoint is not reused anywhere, I can specify the endpoint in a short form here within the curly braces. So it will start in port 1990 since in the local host or the given IP. This is an accessory edition. Here you can see this method. This is a pure WebSocket service. There can be a service that is both HTTP and WebSocket. I mean, a WebSocket service can be an upgrade from a HTTP service, which I will explain later. Initially the HTTP request comes to the first service and it upgrades to an WebSocket service, but in this case this is a pure WebSocket service. So whenever a client get connected to this server, this onOpen method will be called, and you can handle whatever the action that you want to do here. This is very useful in gateway scenarios, as we will see later. And whenever a text message comes, it will go to this resource. On text resource, it has the endpoint and the text and the final fragment, whether it is the final fragment or not. That means if you have a long text, you can, and the WebSocket maximum frame size is only 65K and you have a 2 MB message, you can send whenever the frame size is larger than, I mean the data that you are trying to send is larger than the max frame size of the server, you can set this value to final to false and continue to send these frames, and at the end you can send it to true. So this server would know that it is a continuation text and not a final text. Or if you are sending the frame by frame, you can always set this to true. So that's the use of this final fragment. And here you have this boolean. You can have the same boolean final on binary also, but this is an optional parameter. If you are not using it, you can simply delete it. And on ping, it will give you a binary data. That here what we are doing is just simply sending a pong back. This is like this server is only an echo server that receives the text and sends back the same text, receives the binary, sends back the same binary. And on timeout, the endpoint will here whenever this 2 minutes timeout is reached to 120 seconds, this resource will be called. Here we are simply closing the connection, but you can do anything. But you can send a ping or a pong and so on. This is if this value is not specified, this resource will never be invoked. And whenever a closed WebSocket frame comes or a channel goes inactive, this resource will be called. Here we are simply printing the status code and the reason. Here it gets a status code and the reason for closing the connection. Each of these resources has this endpoint, so you can use it to send text, binary, ping, pong, and close the connection. Also you can get details like whether the connection is open using is open, and if the connection is secure using the is secure attributes of this endpoint. So let us run this server to see how it works. Let us do it in the command line. So I can learn this Ballerina run, and I can call my server, which is basic. It will meanwhile we can as shown in a previous tutorial, we can test this using the web console. Here I will go to this localhost WS localhost 9090, and this is basic WS, the port is 9090. So let me go there. Once the server has started, when I go first connect the client, it will say new client connected, and then I can log these frames. I log the close frame also as before, and I will send a message, hello world. You can see this hello world is just returned, echoed back, and you can see I have logged this hello world text message, hello world, and then I can close my server also. I can give a full message, and you can see it echoes back. By the WebSocket specification, it should echo back the close frame, which it does. And here you can see it logs client left with distorted code 1000 because I need to leave. That's how easy it is to create a Ballerina WebSocket server and write your code inside these functions, resources. Thank you for watching.